I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome everyone to the Dispatches from Elsewhere after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We are so excited to chat about this show with you because we had an amazingly exciting episode with all sorts of happenings going on. Today we are talking about Everyone. And I don't just mean the cast of characters, I mean that is the episode title. And on that note, I am joined by everyone here. Sana Moore.
Hi. Hey,
Chantel Del
everyone.
Aguila.
Hi guys, welcome back.
And Benjamin Snow.
What's up, people? Still alive, gained a lot of weight. Thank you.
That's
I hope
my
everyone
line.
is enjoying their quarantine experience, whatever's happening to you. You guys, this was a great episode with so much happened, and we're going to talk about all of it. The search for Clara with Janice and Simone, the hunt for the truth with Fredwynn and Peter, and the penthouse at Houghton with Everyone. And we're also going to get into news and updates with Ben. We're going to talk about Philadelphia and getting to know the town with Chantel. And if we got time, we're going to get into some predictions because I feel like the entire show has changed in presentation and plot. And so my predictions are going to be changing as well. But you guys, what'd you all think of Everyone?
Oh my goodness. I just want to start off by saying that the whole team switch took me for a different turn in the whole show. I was like, what? And Janice, she definitely has some spice to her. She definitely showed herself during this episode and that she's tough. So I'm really proud of her. Still Team Fredwynn.
I agree. Janice is a firecracker. And I mean, you get to see this other side of her because like the first depiction of her is this loving woman and she supports her husband and she does everything with him. But tonight's episode or last night's episode, I was just like, whoa, Janice, look at you. Okay.
Yeah,
but I don't want to sound negative, obviously, but I have to say, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because nothing really new happened.
Did we watch the same episode?
We did watch the same. I mean, we did watch the same episode. They changed and they switched teams and stuff like that. I get that. But at the end of the day, for me personally, we learned so much about the characters the last couple of episodes, and I didn't really see any kind of involvement or something like that. We have a couple more clues, and they basically went to different locations. But from a character perspective, me personally, I haven't really learned more.
What are you talking about?
Wow.
Janice has evolved into this, like I said, firecracker. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well,
2020 Janice.
Ben is saying.
I still love you though. Okay.
Love you too.
I agree. There's a
Definitely have
lot
to
about
disagree.
Janice we haven't gotten to know yet. Like I feel like we barely know Janice at all. There's so much more to this character that we're not experiencing. But aside from her, everyone did kind of the usual thing a bit. I feel like everybody is taking more risks and jumping out of their shell, whatever it is. But no, we're not learning about characters the same way that we have been in the last 4 episodes, or the last 5, I guess, because each one has been focused on getting to know each individual character, and now this one is more about, I guess, the group collective. I don't know. That's what we're here to talk about. So let's start simply then. We'll take them 2 at a time. Let's focus on Janice and Simone and their search for Clara. Basically, they took Peter's advice to go determine whether or not Clara is in fact a real person, and thus the game itself is real, and trying to get to the bottom of that. And long story short, they're successful. This is amazing. I think it's amazing that they got that far in this short amount of time. What do you think, Chantel?
I agree with you exactly. Like, even in the scene where they get to that apartment complex, first of all, I don't know how Simone did it. I would have been looking at windows and been like, sure, let's pick one. But woman had it down to the point. She was like, that's the window. That's the apartment that we're going to. And we are getting in there no matter what we do. But
she was confident enough to peel the walls off.
Yeah. Again, would have never guessed that. But Janice being this, like, I love that Janice is like, you just need to like read people. You just need to get to know them. And once you get to know them, they they'll become friends with you. You know, they'll let down their walls. And that's exactly what they did. And first of all, oh God, I don't know if I would have walked into that apartment, those cats.
It was too many cats. Way too many cats.
Bless her soul, that little lady, she definitely needs a maid. Hey, it's quarantine time. Someone help her out. Like, seriously. But I mean, just get back to Simone and Janice, you know, going to that, finding out that mural and realizing that there was this whole other side to it inside this apartment. My mind was blown. I would have never in a million years thought to do that.
I thought it was an interesting twist on what Clara's motif or MO has been, where I feel like this piece of art could only really be experienced by one or two people, whoever happens to live there. But I guess this was one she did for herself, and the Clara fashion, she wanted to extend it out into the world. It was just odd to me that this grand piece of artwork was contained within her apartment. It was
What?
a piece just for her.
And I want to know why she chose a dragon.
Maybe she just likes dragons.
That was my next question. You know, what does the dragon symbolize? Because if you kind of look at, like, even the way the tail ran through the window, you know, I was also thinking, you know, why wasn't the whole dragon just like painted on the wall? Why did it lead outside, you know, and connect these two pieces?
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, and I had a feeling personally, as I know dragons, I feel like they are like a symbol for power, obviously, and also freedom at the end. And as we discussed before, I think Clara wanted to break out basically out of her environment and just change the whole town, right? And I think maybe dragon is kind of the animal where she was kind of connected to overall. I think that's how I see it.
And it's a fantastic creature. It's not something that everyone sees all the time. It's something from the imagination that but that everyone recognizes.
Exactly.
So I think there's some validity to that choice, and I'm just a fan of the dragon just being a symbol for women's power and such. I think it's great. Something I noticed about the top of the episode when they were in the diner is Peter seems to be focused on Clara. He thinks that's the key to continuing this exercise. Janice is more focused on the activity. She wants to just continue playing the game as it's presented to them. Fredwynn is focused on whatever entities are behind the game, and I really couldn't peg what Simone was all about, like what she thinks is the right direction to go in. Regardless, though, Peter doesn't focus on Clara. It's instead Simone doing it. Janice is not focused on the activity. She's doing the behind the scenes stuff the same way that Peter or Fredwynn are doing it. And we come to find out in the bar scene that Janice is, like you said, quite the firecracker. She had this very firecracker protesting, up in arms kind of personality that she doesn't let out often anymore, but we're definitely seeing notes of. So that revelation in the bar, I have to hear thoughts about that one. It's not related to the plot. It's just a really cool character moment that definitely blew Simone away, and it kind of took me by surprise too. So, Ben, what'd you think?
You're basically talking about the moment when she's meeting this old friend, right? Is that basically what?
Yeah, we'll call him that.
I mean, it is kind of, yes. I mean, I have to come back to what you guys said about Janice. You know, the thing is, I think why I'm not really surprised about her behavior is because I remember that scene, by the way, when she's coming with Fredwynn to Simone and is convincing her actually that they have to do the right thing. So at that moment, I knew already that she's not just this kind of little lady. So I always had a feeling that she has this kind of inner power that just has to come out at some point. And I think she was kind of shocked to see this guy. I think she was kind of overwhelmed by it. And I think she didn't even know how to react. So I think she always had an answer before, but I think that was the first time when I felt, okay, she didn't really know what to do in this moment for the first couple of seconds. What do you guys think?
That sounds pretty spot on to me, but yes, Chantel, please.
I think, you know, this was the reason why she was chosen for this game. You know, maybe the Jejun Institute, they knew of her past and they were like, we got to bring the old Janice back. And we got to see her. Like, this was, you know, this was that moment, that scene that old Janice is back and old Janice has questions and she's out to get answers, and don't mess with the little lady because she'll step on your toes. She'll step on your toes with that smile. You know, she's a sweetheart, but don't let her smile fool you. Like I said, I like it. I like this new side of Janice. I think they need another strong leader because I feel like Fredwynn's really strong, a strong character, personality wise, and just overall in the game. He knows so much. So I like it. I think it's empowering because she's a female character, and it's like, yes, I'm glad that I can see that in someone else.
Sanaa, any thoughts on Janice? I'm sure I can only expect you do.
Yes, Janice is definitely she's in my top 2 now for my favorate characters. I mean, it's only 4, so I guess, but Janice,
I
really
count Clara as part of the group now.
Okay. But yeah, Janice really showed out. I love how she took charge during everything. Even during the bar scene, I was just proud of her for even being able to think on her feet and just really stand her ground in it and not get, frazzled or not know or just want to go home. Because, sometimes Janice can get a little overwhelmed and she's ready to go home to her man and just tell him about like all of what she's done. But I was proud of her during this entire episode because she really proved herself to me to be a top player and not the weakest link.
What do you think about her kind of, I just want to call it a tiff because I really don't want to call it a feud because I love them so much, with Fredwynn.
Yeah, I knew this is coming. I even wrote it down.
Please, tell me your thoughts.
I knew this is going to be, I just knew it. But she really stood up for herself and she was very grounded on how she felt. She felt disrespected when Fredwynn entered into her world, especially when it came to like her husband and everything. Like my girl does not play about her man. So when Fredwynn did that, I think it was just too much for her to take in. I think she's going to forgive him and she's going to be back friends with him. But I think for right now, she's just still a little hot about it because she hasn't really had anybody who's really, she lets into her own world and who she lets really see the true Janice and with her husband. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thought her husband was dead for the longest, the way she was describing him.
Yeah, we were definitely, I think, led to believe that. The show kind of used our assumptions against us in this. And because she never talks about him, everyone else is probably coming to a similar assumption. But
yeah,
she invited Fredwynn into her home first. I mean, he showed up, but
yeah, he kind of invited himself.
Yeah, so we know that they had some sort of rooftop kind of moment, and then she invited him in, and he seemed very understanding, and so yeah, I can understand why she feels a little betrayed, but
yeah.
I think this was her.
Yeah.
She was just trying to prove her point to Fredwynn, like, hey,
point.
I let you in. I, let you get close to me, and you kind of overstepped your boundaries. And, I'm gonna forgive you, but you need to understand where our friendship lies, our team, I don't know, friendship
Dynamic.
lies. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is kind of just her, I might take a step back, know your place, I guess. But I'll forgive you. She loves Fredwynn.
And
I also
have
feelings.
It also gave us another chance to see how the rest of the group kind of works with each other. Like I think, Fredwynn, I think the teams the way they are now works better to me than like when they were in their original teams. I want to know what you guys think and let us know in the chat. But I think Fredwynn and Peter make a better match, and they were able to uncover a lot of stuff and work good together. Like they don't get really in each other's way a lot. So I think they work better.
Well, let's put a pin in that. And in the meantime, yes, because I'm going to get to that. But yes, the fans, let's hear your comments. What are your favorite pairings so far? Let us know. Sanaa will let us know. But while they're doing that, Ben, you had a thought you were going to share.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, especially about Janice and Fredwynn at the very beginning. Remember the scene when he's basically going into the trunk and she's looking for him? I think she kind of treated him almost like a son. I think she was really trying to to kind of even raise him a little bit in a way, kind of the lost son that she never had in a way, right? But I think now they're basically also realizing how different they are. I think at the beginning they felt like maybe we're quite close, we actually on the same page, and I think now they basically go separate ways. And I think both of them maybe realize, hey, I'm actually better off with Simone, and Fredwynn thinks, hey, I like maybe Peter and I maybe is a better team. Who knows? You know, that's just how I feel.
Well, so you guys brought up that Sanaa, I think you were the one saying that they were more effective in these pairings. I think that Janice and Simone were super effective. I am blown away by what they uncovered, how quickly they got it done, and how efficient they were. Peter and Fredwynn, on the other hand, I don't think ran very efficiently. I don't think they got to the bottom of what they were trying to get to. They definitely didn't meet their goal. I mean, not that they didn't uncover something. Well, okay, I see that aghast face you're making. So, what did you think of them?
We watched the same episode. Did we watch the same episode, guys?
I'm just saying there was a scene in which one partner fled, leaving the other guy behind to run into a wall, break his nose, and then throw himself off a 2-story building. Like that, that could have gone better. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly,
I was gonna say it's Peter.
He runs. That's what he does. Run into walls on his free time.
Fredwynn abandoned him. Fredwynn told him that he's got this under control, and he totally didn't. And then he just left him there to suffer.
Technically,
but maybe Peter needed that. Maybe Peter needed to kind of step up a little, you know, and form his own plan to get away. And I mean, maybe, you know, he didn't do it in the best way possible, because I mean, shoot, I wouldn't have jumped off of a building like that without any cushion below. But he survived.
I'm not going to disagree that Peter didn't need to step up, but that wasn't like Fredwynn being like, that was a life coach moment. I planned that.
You know, to be honest, I really think it's more so like, here, let me break down Fredwynn, because you guys know I've been hashtag Team Fredwynn since the first episode.
Oh, I know. That's why I really want to get your thoughts.
Look, Fredwynn is the type of person that's like this. You got to be you got to be on it. You got to be on your P's and Q's. Peter, you're the one who said someone's coming. And Peter honestly made me upset, because he's the one, you know, you're not allowed in this building. No one can see Fredwynn, but they see Peter like standing up basically. And they're like, he doesn't work here anymore. And so you got everyone caught, Peter.
That's a good point.
On top of that, it's like, you know, you have to be fast. If you literally, Fredwynn did give a little warning. He said, "Ooh," and then he left. He said, "Ooh."
That's not a warning.
That is a warning.
It's not
because
a warning.
he's the one who saw the security.
If he went,
cannot run fast.
Run, maybe. I'll give you this though.
Security.
I was like, when Peter was trying to run from the guard and him hitting the wall, okay, I'll give that to him. He was panicking. But
so you running back at yourself?
No, here's what I want to run back at myself. When Peter was running through his building, like trying to find the exit, I was like, dude, how long
have you worked here?
How do you not know where the way out is? How do you not know where the way you came in is?
Literally,
all they're gonna do is usher you out anyway. Like, why not?
I was just about to say that. Like, why? How did you not think in that moment? Okay, when the security's got your arm, and then you fake like, oh, you're hurting me. Run towards the front door where you entered from. No, I'm gonna go out a window or whatever. You know,
wherever Fredwynn went is where you should have went.
Exactly.
Ben, I can see you biting your lip over there. What's up, man?
No, I just wanted to let you guys finish, because I feel like you have a lot to say today, so I don't want to interrupt you guys.
All right. I'm sorry. Okay, well, all right, let me try to get things back on track.
Hey, that's what we're here for, right? I just wanted to mention that I feel like we shouldn't give, don't get me wrong, I like Peter, right? I like his character, but we shouldn't give him too much credit for always doing the right logical thing, right? I hope we remember that way, you know, aka Forrest Gump, right? I mean, I love this guy too, but he also always, you know, that he reminds me of Forrest Gump a little bit. I have to say that doesn't mean he does the right thing, but I think sometimes he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just doing it because he feels that's the right thing for me to do right now. And Peter reminds me of that a little bit.
Well, okay, so where Fredwynn is the kind of guy who has a secret cork board with every possible thing you could throw up on there, all spanned out. Like when he did that reveal of this is what I've been working on, my thought was like, how long has this activity been going on? There's so much on that board. And then the other thought was just about how he is very much the planner. He's trying to get all of the puzzle pieces together so that he can build something and then head toward that destination. Whereas, as you kind of were saying, Peter is very much just winging it. He's just going with whatever inspiration comes to him. And it does pay off. He's the one who cracked the riddle of how to find wherever the Elsewhere Society are broadcasting from with that spurt of inspiration from Clara. So
And that's
it was effective.
I was gonna say it was effective because you have Fredwynn, who's an overthinker and over planner, and breaks down every little thing. And then here's Peter, who can't quite think on his toes, you know. And then in that moment when they're in the museum, Fredwynn kind of just feels like he's about to lose his mind. He's like,
Yeah.
what are you, Clara, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to show me? Because he's overthinking. And I think it's kind of clouded his memory and, everything that's going on in his head. And then you have Peter here, who, again, like I said, can't really think on his toes. Not in a way going along with the ride, but, maybe he's not the strongest team member. And right in that moment, he's like, here, it's been sitting in the palm of my hand. Well, now in yours, Fredwynn. Here's our clue.
I don't think that it's not that Peter isn't the strongest team member. It's just he has a very, very different approach, which almost doesn't seem like one. He just kind of haphazardly comes across stuff. And I don't know if that's a skill set that you can put a label on or not, but whereas I love this pairing because it's so very different. Fredwynn goes in trying to focus on finding the thing that we need to need. He knows what that thing, he thinks he knows what that thing is. But Peter is kind of the one who just lets the world speak to him and just brings it all in. And I do this a lot, so maybe that's why I'm so defensive, where if I'm trying to help someone build a thing or come up with an idea, I will put every stupid thing that pops into my brain on the table in case something sparks inspiration. And in this case, it was he found that plastic orange that had that logo for Bender Elmore, and that was the piece that Fredwynn was missing and just couldn't see. So they have these very different approaches that really, I don't want to say they complement each other, but they fill each other's gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think agree. That's why like I said, I don't think that this was a better group. This teaming, it's just a different. They got different outcomes this time, which I like. Yeah. They do complement each other in every different way. I mean, I'm sure if you were to mix it up and put Janice with Peter, you'd get something different. We don't know. Maybe they're going to do that. We don't know.
I hope
they do. And I think, by the way, that's the idea that Jason did on purpose. I think he wanted to show us audience and viewers on this episode, what would happen if we have different characteristics, like connecting with each other. It's like real life too. We all have a little bit of everyone in this show. As I don't know if you guys realized that already. We all have a little bit of each and every one on our show. And I think he just wanted to show right now, okay, what is actually happening now if we take this characteristic of Fredwynn, combining it with Peter, who is more maybe the naive guy or is winging more stuff. And I think that was a great idea to show that to us as the viewer, to maybe identify even more with them. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Peter
also
is definitely Well, Peter's definitely an example of the pros and cons of winging something. We got to see both of them. Like, you may stumble across the missing piece, but you also might bust your face into the wall.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Snot, you had a thought.
I was just going to say that Sheldon in the chat said, excuse me, he said, I want to see one more mix-up, Fredwynn working with Simone. So how do you guys feel about that mix?
She is so hesitant to work with him, I can tell.
Wow. I can tell. This is going to go down. This is not going to work very well. I feel that already.
Well, no, because you have two people. Well, you have two people that are strong personalities. They're both, I would say, their personalities in the group are the strongest. So you put them together, I feel like they wouldn't be able to get anywhere at all. They would just clash right away.
And I have a feeling they might going to show us that in the future. Just saying. I don't know. Predicting.
I think
Well,
it'd
with
be
the
cool to
pairings,
see.
yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting regardless. There's no doubt about that. We got to mix up these pairings, these episodes, and regardless of who was more effective or who was more efficient, they all ended at the same spot at the Houghton Heights, I think it was, the former psychiatric institution that is now upscale apartments, because that's what gentrification does. They all end up in the same location, and man, did they blow this thing wide open. They found the broadcast center of both the Elsewhere Society and the Jejun Institute.
Mm-hmm.
This whole episode, especially with Peter and Fredwynn, they've been retracing the steps that we've already visited. This entire production has put them through, and everything has been taken away. Fredwynn believes that it's because they're covering their tracks and they're shutting everything down before they just disappear forever. I personally believe it's because all of the stuff they rented to put on this show had to go back to where it came from. You can't keep paying for these performance locations. So regardless of whether I'm right or Fredwynn's right, it's all gone. But then they stumble into like Commander 14's home, which I'm sure they were definitely not supposed to go to. They were supposed to be at that event. So, guys, this was a huge revelation. Give me your thoughts, Chantel.
I was going to say, can we just backtrack a little bit? So when they got there to, the outside, the courtyard of what was once a hospital, again, thought it was very interesting that Janice knew where to go. And then you see a little glimpse of, a flashback memory. So I'm looking forward to kind of find out more about Janice. Because like I said, I think there's so much more that we don't know about Janice.
Oh, absolutely. That was the note I wrote for myself was there's so much more to Janice than we know.
Yeah. And I said it before. I was like, Fredwynn's a key player in this group, because he's like the Minecraft person. He just understands everything. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to switch it up and be like Janice. Janice might be the key player because she knows a lot about Fishtown.
She probably knows the town more than anybody.
Yeah.
Which I think it's very fair to say.
She is the Commander 14. Boom.
No. I don't know about that.
So Ben, you're revisiting your theory that one of them's been a plant the whole time, but it's not Fredwynn anymore. It's
mean,
Janice.
I honestly, I'm still thinking about it. I'm not sure who it is, but I still have a feeling that someone is like the black sheep under those characters. I don't know. Something is telling me that.
I'll say this: as soon as they did the revelation about Bender Elmore and that being the company that owns Peter's place of employment, I thought of you. And I was like, oh my God, they absolutely were brought together. Like, this is not by accident that these four random people from Philadelphia happen to be in this group. Like, this was very predetermined.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, bud. You got that.
Go Ben.
Sana, tell me what you thought when they arrived at Houghton.
Ooh, when they arrived, I literally, like I said, my top two are really just always overachieving on this. And every time, something else gets cracked, it's always, and I feel like, my two players, Fredwynn and Janice, anytime they crack anything, I'm always team them. And I just get so excited the entire time, especially when we're able to learn a little bit, new characteristics, whether they're saying things or not. I think we can also learn a lot from the things that the characters don't say or like don't do as well too. So, I just keep learning more about Janice and Fredwynn each and every day that we watch the show.
There was a moment I really liked when they were breaking and entering. Where Simone went to turn off the faucet that had been left running. Because that's a huge pet peeve for me. So I really appreciated that. But Fredwynn stepped in, and not in the usual overbearing Fredwynn manner, but he just kind of like guided her to cover her hand and then let her do it. Now that I bring that up, I would love to see that pairing.
Yeah.
They
You never
really
know.
congealed as a team, and this breaking and entering, like this is Fredwynn's territory of like, we're gonna kick the door in on the place that we know we're not supposed to be at because everyone was told to go somewhere else. I wish Fredwynn wouldn't announce himself. He's definitely not a fan of the element of surprise. So I don't know if the reason the place was ransacked was because everyone scurried out of there real fast after he announced that they were coming up. But anyway, as a group, they went up. Nobody really objected to that. Peter, of all people, was the one to literally kick the door in. Nobody protested that. They all went in together. They rode up the elevator. They got into the building, or the penthouse, and it wasn't until they were like hearing voices that they started to realize how dangerous this could be. But they still just kept climbing as a group. They were all in on this.
Well, see, when I initially saw that scene, I thought, what if this is a setup? What if they knew they were going to go there? They were going to break in. So let's not make it look like a break in. Let's not ransack it and throw them off. I don't know. I just, for a minute there, I was like, it's possible.
But what do you mean? Who was setting that up, though? Who are you talking about?
Maybe the Jejun Institute. Maybe this Black Widow figure that we still haven't come across yet. We don't know who she is or anything like that.
But why would they do that? What is the intention then? I'm just trying to follow you right now.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I get lost in some things here and there. I'm like, I feel like you're gonna just throw me off. So why not just throw them in a room and be like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here, but really we want you to be here because we want you to find a clue. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt.
No, I can see that. No, I like that. No, I know. I think I know.
I also felt a little lost because I really feel like they pulled back the curtain. Like, I'm trying not to use the lingo too hard, but I don't know how else to describe it. They found where the puppet master operates from. They figured out where the Wizard of Oz lives, and they pulled back the curtain. And if it wasn't for the fact that Octavio Coleman Esquire, if that's your real name, was probably supposed to be somewhere else for the performance that they're putting on, I feel like he would have been there. And with the exception of them literally scurrying out last minute because they heard Fredwynn, I can't foresee why the place would be in such disarray. But all I do know is they found the address, the IP address or whatever physical address. They both confirmed, like each team confirmed this is where it's coming from. They go upstairs and they see that broadcast that they know is happening live to people who are participating in this activity. And it's of both Octavio Coleman Esquire and Commander 14. And even though I saw them both in the same room on episode 3, I'm revisiting my theory that they're the same person. Because they were both perfectly in sync, not just playing their messages at the same time. They were in sync.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think I still believe when we went back to I think it was the 3rd episode, right? When Janice was on stage and all of a sudden we see the commander coming down. I think that was staged. That's what I believe. I believe that was staged just to make them think, okay, there is another person, the Commander 14. At the end of the day, it is the same
kind
person.
Of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I totally believe that. It was always the same person that just wanted to make it look like, okay, we are 2 different people to them in the first place.
I think that's what it is. But before let's settle, and before we get into news and predictions, Ben, while you've got the microphone, why don't we get into our news and updates segment? We'll let everyone on our chat. Thank you guys so much for being on this program, by the way. Please leave your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want to keep up to date with everything, follow AfterBuzz TV. We appreciate you fans so very much for making us the ESPN of TV talk, especially now while everything is from the comfort of our very own homes. So thank you for helping make this production possible. We honestly couldn't do it without you. So while you're planting your theories, Ben, what's been going
Yeah,
on
thank you.
behind the scenes?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I have our beautiful, like, great producer Ryan, right? He's with us, and he's showing you guys something very interesting right now because I found an article about Eve Lindley, right? I want to talk about
Oh.
Eve, who's playing Simone. I want to talk about a little bit more about her because we actually haven't really talked about her, like the actress, right? And there's this one article which is saying, okay, what playing the love interest means to Eve Lindley. So she basically gave an interview online talking a little bit about, okay, what it is to play that character, right? Because as we all know, she had made a transition, right? From a man into a woman, right? We all know that. That's not a secret, obviously. And she basically feels like this character, when she read the script, is the first like character, the first transgender character that she really felt and was connected to, because before she played a lot of different roles in the same kind of genre and category, but she never really felt it. She was always like, okay, that was kind of made up for her, right? That was not really how she would behave. And the interesting thing is, remember the second episode when we also see her childhood a little bit, when we see small Simon. I don't know if you guys remember that young Simon that was in the second episode, this young boy.
Yes, I do
Exactly.
remember him going through his emo phase. Yeah.
Exactly. And she basically pointed that out because she was like, and it's for me very interesting also as an actor, like that she could make that decision. She was like, you know what? When I read the script, I didn't feel like that is something that Simone would do. She wouldn't just change her name from Simon to Simone. So they basically even took that and tried to make her character even like based on that a little more. They kept that, but she was like, because of that, she even wanted to be more herself and not just because I just add an E to my name and now I'm a different person. Does that make sense to you guys? So that was very important to her to make everyone understand, the creators, hey, just by adding an E doesn't mean that's pretty much what I did. That's not just what that transition is all about. I just want to basically explore myself. I just want to go out there and just live my life how I wanted to live it. And she basically addressed that when she read the script. And I feel like that's a great story for the whole industry, you know, to open up. Hollywood is opening up to have more different kind of variety, diversity, different roles. And that's, I wanted to point that out. And obviously we have a lot more to talk in the near future, if you know what I'm talking about.
One thing I really loved about the show is how diverse the casting is across every spectrum and gamut there is. And I really am proud of how well this show's been doing that, at least from the perspective of a cisgender straight white man. I think they're doing great.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to check out that article.
Sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, that was great.
Right,
please check it out.
Yeah, and Chantel, so you have a little bit more of a behind the scenes look for us regarding the locations that we're seeing on the show.
Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting finding out, this is all shot in Philadelphia. And there are a couple of different scenes. Actually, going to show you this first one. I don't know if you guys recall this scene with Simone when she was in the museum, in her
Professor
workplace.
Bigfoot.
Exactly. But this was actually shot inside of the museum, the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Oh.
And fun little fact. We have another photo, Ryan. There you go. Beautiful. Thank you, Ryan. Those stairs that you're looking at right now are actually the famous 72 steps that Sylvester Stallone climbed up for his film in Rocky.
Oh.
Yeah, so I thought that was a fun little fact. Philadelphia is beautiful, and obviously the director and everybody wanted to capture that and show the audience what Philadelphia has to offer. This photo, if you guys recall this mural, the Welcome to Fishtown, where Peter and Simone are standing right outside of it, is actually a newer mural that was painted. And I thought it was interesting that they chose cats. The artist actually mentioned that the purpose behind the cats in Fishtown is because he wanted to play off of the name. And he thought, what a better place to hang out for cats than Fishtown, Philadelphia.
I love that. That's awesome. That's really.
And then if you guys, I don't know if you recall this scene, the scene where Peter actually walks into this beautiful marble hallway, right when he's beginning his journey into the Jejun Institute, trying to find out this whole game and what it is. This is actually the Curtis Center. Beautiful area. It actually houses a 16 by 50 foot Tiffany glass mosaic, which is called the Dream Garden. So
Wow.
yeah, so if you're ever thinking of traveling to Philadelphia, maybe after this whole quarantine thing is over, those are just a couple of great spots you could check out and see. And those were all a part of the episodes so far that we've
I'm
seen.
not gonna lie, I would absolutely love to do a Dispatches from Elsewhere tour through
A
Philadelphia.
scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
Scavenger hunt.
yeah, I get to go see the clues of my favorite show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to wind down, but I really want to hear some final thoughts about where you think this is going, if you have any. I feel like we kind of covered it a bit, but does anyone have any idea what's going to happen next?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think that
please.
Fredwynn is going to want to stay. I think Janice is going to want to get back with Fredwynn, but Fredwynn's going to be like, actually, no, ma'am. I think I'm good with theater. So I think that's how it's going to go. I think the teams now are just going to stay the way they are.
Oh.
I think the team's going to come together.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be split anymore. I think it's going to be the four of them, and they're going to have to all work together, and search for Clara. Like there's
Yeah, they haven't
they still gotta find
done
Clara.
that
They
yet
don't know.
as a
Yeah,
group.
exactly. So I think they're gonna hone down on that, and that's gonna be their key thing is where is Clara now that we know that she's real, that she's
have
an
a last
actual
name.
person. We have a last
Mhm.
name, Clara Torres. Let's find out what happened to her.
All right, and Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I still can't get my head around. I still think that Clara might be a real person, but I still believe that the whole thing is kind of set up. Still, I still believe that the whole Clara story is the person might be real, but the whole story is not real.
Ben, I got to ask you specifically, what do you think they uncovered in the penthouse?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I can't.
All
I mean,
right.
I was thinking about it. I wish I could tell you. For some reason, I just feel like it seems a little too easy right now for me that they get the clues here and there, and out of a sudden they come together, and then they follow the route, and then they found a new way, and it feels very easy. Then someone is making it very easy for them right now, and it seems almost too easy for me for some reason. That's what I'm saying, and still believing that Fredwynn and Simone are going to become like a couple, just for us to see how that is going to work out.
All right. Yeah.
And Mr. Spins, just to put in there, hey, Mr. Spins, shout out to you. He said
not our after show unless we hear from Mr. Spins.
Yeah. He just has said that basically his whole prediction of what he thought for the show, what was going to happen, is totally different now. So he's kind of saying what everyone else said.
Oh, cool. And that's how I felt. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt at the top of this after show, that the whole dynamic of the show has completely changed. I will be back. I wasn't this past week, but I will be back in the YouTube comments to talk theories. So look for me, Mr. Spins. Look for me, everyone. And my name there on YouTube is Keven Allen 2, but you can follow me at Twitter at Keven Allen Graham, Keven Allen Says, and Instagram at Keven Allen Graham. Chantel, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chantel D. Of course, just very simple, SHYNTEL and the letter D.
All right, right there, like in the corner, right? Yeah.
Right in that corner.
All right. Ben, where can the good people find you? I assume that little thing at the bottom of your name.
Yeah, I think that's my name, right? Benjamin Schnau. Yeah, that's my name, exactly. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and also now on Twitter. Same name, at Benjamin Schnau, like the dog, SCHNAU.
Welcome to Twitter. And Sanaa,
yes, you guys can. Yes, please follow me on Instagram at IAM_SANA_, and then as well on Twitter, which is IAM_Sanaa SANA.
All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We will be back next week, hopefully with a whole new batch of clues to discuss. Until then, have a great week and stay safe. Have a good night.
Yes, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home.
Thank you, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.